What comes to your mind when you think of Dubai? Tall skyscrapers, fancy supercars, or maybe the huge air-conditioned malls that have everything you could want? That's usually what we see on social media, right? But the real Dubai has more to it than just these things people usually think about, and it's not always positive. Today, we're talking about the dark side of Dubai, the hidden and not so great parts of the city that no one tells you about. Here's everything about Dubai that you don't see on Instagram. The migrant workforce. Even though people think of the city as rich and fancy, it's actually gotten some heat for treating its migrant workers poorly. After all, these workers make up a big part of the city's population. I'm not saying you can't have a lot of fun and make good memories on your trip, but you should know that things might not be exactly as they seem. The city of Dubai has become a big, important place, primarily because of the people who came to work here from other countries. Many of these workers had to come under a system that makes them stay with their bosses. They were promised a better life, more money, and many chances to do well. But the truth is quite different. Most workers have to work very long hours, live in bad conditions, and are paid very little. And the laws in Dubai aren't very fair to these workers either. The way these workers live is really tough and much worse than you might think. And on your trip, you'll see a lot of them working non-stop in the boiling heat. Speaking of heat, being a tourist in the city might not always be easy and nice. Dubai isn't easy to walk in. You might want to remove romantic walks from your itinerary since the city stretches along 30 miles of coastline and the interesting places are often far away from each other. Add to that the bad traffic on crowded highways and you've got a terrible few hours ahead of you. It's easy to see why Dubai isn't very good for walking. It's not set up for pedestrians and it's really hot outside. I can't stress enough about the heat. Using public transportation like buses isn't great either because they get stuck in traffic. So if you don't have your own car, taxis are a good option, and they're not too expensive. Everything in Dubai is air-conditioned, so as long as you're inside, you'll be pleasantly cool. Everything looks and feels fake in Dubai. This is one of the biggest disappointments. No matter where you go in Dubai, whether it's the big shopping malls, the clean streets, the restaurants, or even the beach, everything feels a little empty. Since the city was constructed in the middle of the desert many years ago, there aren't many old and historic places here. That's understandable, but if you're the type to sightsee, then there's not much to do here. This might explain why they keep building lots of tourist attractions all over the city. Some of these don't really impress much, like the Dubai Frame and the water fountain at the Burj Khalifa that people talk about so much. Even the Palm Jumeirah, that famous man-made island, doesn't really live up to the hype. The views of the Palm Atlantis and the Burj Al Arab, which is supposed to be the world's only 7-star hotel, aren't as amazing as you might expect, unfortunately. In Dubai, everything has to be the biggest, the best, the tallest, and the most glamorous in the whole world. The people from the UAE are proud of this, even though they don't actually do much except provide money for all the development. It's true, the constant building and work you'll see all around the city is done by migrant workers from countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and the Philippines. But hey, you might find a bit of culture and history in old Dubai, especially at Dubai's oldest fort called Al Fahidi and at Dubai Creek. But even old Dubai has lost its charm. The famous gold and spice markets look modern, with sellers pushing expensive souvenirs on you. And that's become a big trend here. Here are some more places in Dubai that were made just to attract tourists. 1. La Mer. This is a place that clearly exists to make money. I'm not gonna lie, everything here feels fake. The streets are designed to look like the American Midwest, with buildings made to seem old and covered in graffiti that doesn't really mean anything. There are trendy restaurants and stylish cafes that sell food and drinks at incredibly high prices, especially for a beach area. The funny thing is that the people from the UAE tried really hard to make it a cool spot for tourists, but sometimes you can't hide the fact that something isn't genuine. The most unfortunate part about this place, just like many other places in downtown Dubai, is the workers. You'll see staff from Kerala in India and the Philippines working in the blazing heat, which can reach up to 50 degrees Celsius. The workers who clean often have to stand inside the very clean restrooms for shifts that are over 14 hours long. But coming back to the sights, I can't talk about Dubai and not mention the one building it's really known for. 2. The Burj Khalifa. This is another place in Dubai that's probably its most prized tourist attraction. Climbing the tallest building in the world is definitely something you'd want to do at least once in your life, and I totally get that. From the top, you'll see unique views, and you won't find them anywhere else in the world. The Burj Khalifa is a major highlight of any trip to Dubai, but remember to book your tickets well ahead of time. For the best views, choose a time slot around 4 p.m. so that you can reach the top before sunset. This way, you can enjoy the incredible sights both in daylight and at night all in one visit. But here's the catch. You need to remember that the lines to get in are really long, and you might end up waiting for more than an hour. But you can skip the lines if you're willing to pay more. And once you're up there, it can get very crowded. Coming back down to the ground is a bit different though. The lines for going down are just as long, and since there aren't any staff organizing the lines, you might see tourists rushing and pushing to get to the front. So I'm not saying that visiting the Burj Khalifa isn't worth it, it's just that the experience might not be as amazing as you might have hoped. But if you're patient and prepared, there's no reason you won't have a good time. 3. Mega malls. Tourists love to shop, and these sprawling malls are designed to be a paradise for tourists looking to shop till they drop. Inside, you'll find a lot of the same kind of stores you'll see in any big city around the world. There are places like Starbucks, McDonald's, big fashion shops, and also many stores selling gold and jewelry. Basically anything you can think of, you'll find it in here. If you're not into exploring malls or spending some dough, this probably won't be enjoyable for you. After all, the biggest mall in the world is the Dubai Shopping Mall. It's gigantic, covering more than 12 million square feet. Now, I already mentioned it, but the weather is almost unbearable here. Dubai's hot and polluted. Now, let's get back to talking about the topic at hand, the dark side of the city. Everyone knows that it's scorching, even during the winter. The high temperature and humidity make it hard to stay outside for more than a few minutes without getting sweaty, so be prepared. But here's something you might not know. The UAE is actually one of the most polluted countries in the world. Because of the intense heat, humidity, and pollution, the city can get quite hazy, and the views aren't as amazing as they might look in photos, especially since construction work is everywhere. The surge in tourism in Dubai comes from the city's fast growth. They're building even more high-end apartments, pools that seem to go on forever, and hotels all with 5-star ratings. This is because Dubai is a city using up more resources than its environment can provide. It's simple. It's trying to go against its desert surroundings. The city was constructed in an area where there's hardly any usable water. No water on the surface, very little underground water, and it's in the country which has one of the least amounts of rainfall in the whole world. So, to get water, Dubai takes it from the sea and treats it. But getting water like this is really expensive here. The huge plants that turn seawater into drinking water also release a lot of carbon dioxide into the air. All this also makes some beaches toxic. You'll see that it's common to find these popular beaches polluted since Dubai was built so quickly that its facilities for treating sewage couldn't keep up. It's quite a shame, right? The positives of Dubai. But it's not all bad, that's for sure. There is something to do for everyone, like having an adventure on the Red Dunes Desert Safari, or visiting the Dubai Aquarium and Underwater Zoo. And you can always find something to do in the Deira district. For the more historical landmarks, visit the oldest fort in Dubai or check out the Iranian Mosque. And for hardcore coffee enthusiasts, the Dubai Coffee Museum is a place worth checking out. Dubai's food scene is diverse, thanks to the large number of foreigners living here. If you're looking for authentic Filipino, Indian, Pakistani, and Arab food at affordable prices, head down to Old Dubai. Trust me on this one. The food here isn't just cheaper than in downtown Dubai, but the portions are also larger, and surprisingly, the flavors are richer and more delicious. That's one of the main reasons why I prefer old Dubai over the modern part of the city. And if all else fails, you can just check out the Burj Khalifa and call it a day. How many of these hidden facts about Dubai did you know? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked this video, do me a solid and smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe so you'll be the first to know about upcoming content. And buckle up, folks, because there's a lot we have in store for you.